Hello, this is Lily from Ryan's Plumbing. How may I help you?
Hi, can I have someone look at my pipes? It's kind of leaking.
Of course. What date and time are you looking to schedule an appointment for this service?
Wednesday at 11.
Hold on a sec. Unfortunately, we don't have availability at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. We do have slots at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., or 4 p.m. Would any of those work for you?
I'll do 12 p.m.
Great choice. Would you like to proceed with booking the 12 p.m. slot?
Yes, please.
Could I have your name, please?
Yeah, it's Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Could I also have your email address?
Yeah, it's bob123@gmail.com.
Great. Bob, your email is bob123@gmail.com, and the time you are booking for is November 27th, 2024, at 12 p.m., correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Just a sec. Your appointment is successfully booked for November 27th, 2024, at 12 p.m. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's everything. Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob. Have a great day.
Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be walking through the step-by-step process of building an AI voice receptionist that integrates with Google Calendar. This receptionist will be able to check the availability of your Google Calendar, offer alternative time slots when unavailable, automatically book appointments into your calendar, and deal with time zone conversions that I've had many people ask me about when working with Google Calendar. So the first thing we're going to want to do is head over to VAPI, where we'll be building our AI voice receptionist. For this video example, we'll be building a receptionist for a fictional plumbing company called Ryan's Plumbing. So if we scroll down here a little more, this is where our first message and our system prompt will be. So I'm just going to go over the key components of our prompt. So the first thing we have is our role. So I've just said you are an exceptional receptionist called Lily, skillfully managing scheduling appointments at Ryan's Plumbing. Your expertise in appointment scheduling ensures that every conversation is smooth and efficient. For a task, I've just told Lily to assist users in booking appointments for Ryan and to closely follow the booking steps to ensure a smooth booking process. For specifics, I've just said to keep your answers short and concise, mimicking a real-life conversation over the phone. Here, I provided more context about the business, helping our receptionist provide more context to why it's doing what it's doing. So I've just said Ryan handles all types of plumbing services, and he has lots of experience where he focuses on quality and reliability. Here, I've mentioned the office hours so that our receptionist knows when to book in appointments. I've also mentioned the current time. This is really important to mention the current time because large language models don't actually know the time. So we have to give them a predefined variable of now, which VAPI automatically provides, so that by giving our receptionist the context of time, it'll know when to book appointments and to handle inquiries like asking for today or tomorrow, so our agent will know when to check for availability. For booking steps, I've just said to ask the user what day and time they would like to book their appointment, then to check the calendar for availability using the getAvailability function, which I will go over later, then to suggest alternatives if unavailable, then to always confirm with the user if they would like to proceed with the slot, ask for their name, then ask for their email, confirm the details back to them, use the book appointment function, and then offer additional help. And then down here, I've just provided example conversations that our agent can follow. And then for notes, I've just said to use your role and task to direct the conversation back on track if the conversation steers away from booking appointments. So now that we've given our agent our prompt to follow, we have to connect our agent to our Google Calendar. We do this by using functions or tools. So our agent will be using a getAvailability function to check the availabilities of the calendar, and then a book appointment function to book the appointments into the calendar. So to do that, we're going to head over to tools. Here we can see I've already created a book appointment tool as well as a getAvailability tool, but I'm just going to show you exactly how I did that. So here I'm going to hit new tool. We'll select custom tool. And for server URL, we'll leave it empty for now. We'll hit next. For property name, I'm going to name it requested date time. And then to describe the property, I'm just going to say the date/time the user would like to book their appointment, formatted like this. So here I'm defining in my schema to my receptionist. It'll format it like this to our Google Calendar to check for the availability. So we'll hit next. For the name of the tool, I'll just call it getAvailability. And then to describe it, I'll just say get the availability of the calendar. And then we'll hit create. Now we'll just do the same thing for our book appointment tool. So we'll hit custom tool again. Leave this server URL empty, hit next. For this tool, we'll be having 3 properties, one that's name, email, and date and time of booking. So this tool will actually gather information about our user and then book the appointment into our calendar. So our first property will be name. To describe it, we'll just say the name of the user. We'll hit save. Our next property will be email. The email of the user. We'll hit save for that. And then our last property will be date and time of booking. And then to describe this one, it'll be the date and time the user would like to book their appointment at, formatted like this. This timestamp here is ISO 8601 format, which will be how our Google Calendar will interpret the time. So if today is Sunday, November 24th at 5:09 p.m. and I request for something like tomorrow at 10, it'll show up as something like this. We'll hit save, then hit next. For the name of this tool, it'll be called book appointment. And then to describe it, we'll just say gather the user's name, email, date and time of booking, and book the appointment. Then we'll hit create. So now we have our 2 tools, one that will get the availability of the calendar, and then one that will gather the information of the user and book it into our calendar. So now we'll head over to make.com, which is a no-code automation platform that will be connecting our VAPI tools with our Google Calendar. So the first thing we're going to want to do is hit create a new scenario. Once we're in our new scenario, the first module we're going to hit is webhooks, and then we're going to hit custom webhook. Now we're going to hit add, and now we can name it whatever we want. So I'm just going to name it Ryan's Plumbing, and then hit save. Once we've created our webhook, we'll see that now we have an HTTPS link. Using this link, we're going to have to copy the address to our clipboard, head back over to VAPI, hit our book appointment tool, then integrations, and then for our server URL, this is where we'll paste our hook, and then hit save. And then we'll do the same thing for our get availability. So we'll hit integration, we'll copy this, and then we'll paste it with our new webhook, and then hit save. Now with this server URL, when our agent gathers information like the requested date time or the name, email, and date and time of the booking, it'll ping it to this server URL, which integrates with make.com and our Google Calendar. Alright, so now that we've set up our webhook for our VAPI receptionist and make.com to integrate with, we're going to build out the rest of our automation. So we're going to hit this add another module button here, and then we'll hit tools, and then we'll hit set multiple variables. Here I'm going to add 3 items. Item 1 will be time zone. Item 2 will be office hours. And then our last item will be appointment length. So I'm just setting these 3 variables so that we can interchange it in here and so that it is custom for what you want for your business or agency. So for now, we'll leave these variable values empty and we'll come back to it later. So I'll hit OK. And then now we'll hit add another module. For this one, it will be a router. And now for this bottom module, we'll hit Google Calendar. We'll hit show more and we'll look for get free/busy information. Here for connection, you're just going to want to add your connection, sign in with Google. Once you sign in, your Google Calendar will be integrated with Make, and your receptionist will be able to look at the busy information of your calendar. For calendars, we'll hit add item, and then you'll choose your calendar ID. Once we've chosen our calendar ID, we're going to need to have values for our min time as well as our max time. So this will be the requested date time that the user requests for. So here, when the user requests for a date and time, our receptionist will collect the information in this format and then put it into these two values to get the busy information of our calendar. So to do that, I'm actually going to have a quick conversation with my agent to show you how to get the value of this information. So first, I'm just going to head over to functions and then attach the tools to my agent. So I'm going to select book appointment and get availability and then hit publish. Now I'm just going to head over back to my make.com scenario, right click in between here, hit unlink, and then I'll hit run once. Now I'll head over back to VAPI and then I'll just hit talk with assistant to have a quick conversation with it.
Hello, this is Lily from Ryan's Plumbing. How may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to come in for an appointment tomorrow at 2.
Sure. Let me check the availability for you. One moment, please. One moment. It seems I was...
Alright, so I sent that information to my agent, and if I head over back to make.com, we'll see that we'll have a message with our tool calls of our get availability with the requested date time of tomorrow. So today is November 24th. When I said tomorrow, my receptionist gathered it as 2024 November 25th. I'll hit X here, reconnect back my workflow, and then I'll go to Google Calendar. And now we'll have our dynamic data to place into our minimum time and our maximum time to get the busy information. So to do this, I'll hit the tool calls tab here, hit function, arguments, then select requested date time. So we see here, this will be dynamic data, where whatever the user requests, the minimum time will be this value here. Now for our maximum time, we're going to add 1 day to the requested date time. So we're going to hit this calendar here. Now we see that we have all these functions that have to do with the time. But for this one, we're just going to hit the add days function. And then in between this semicolon here, we'll choose the requested date time. And then in this value here, we'll add 1 day to this requested date time. So when I request for tomorrow, it'll start from November 25th, 12 a.m. Add 1 day to November 26th at 12 a.m. So basically it will get all the busy times for November 25. And then we'll hit OK. Now, a big problem that a lot of people face when it comes to Google Calendar is dealing with the UTC time conversion, where in this make scenario, when it outputs the busy times, it'll output it in your time zone, but in the back end, it'll actually have it in UTC, which is a different time than what it shows you on the screen, which can lead to our receptionist providing times that are actually off due to this UTC time conversion. So I'm just gonna have another conversation with my agent to show you what I mean. So I'm just gonna hit run once again, go back to VAPI, and then talk with it.
Hello, this is Lily from Ryan's Plumbing. How may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to come in for tomorrow.
Sure. What time would you like to book your appointment for tomorrow?
3.
Just a sec. It seems I'm unable to check the
Alright, so now I'll just show you what I mean. So if we go to our calendars, this is my Google Calendar, where these are my busy times. So from 9 to 10, 11 to 12, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. If we go to our calendars, hit busy, and then look at the collections, we'll see that it is accurate. So we do have 9 to 10, 11 to 12, and 1 to 4. But if we hit here and go to output bundles, on the back end, these are the actual times that will be outputted. So it'll have 17 o'clock, 18 o'clock, 19, 20, 21, and then midnight with a Z at the end to represent Zulu time or UTC, where 17 o'clock actually means 5 o'clock and not 9. But because I'm in Pacific time and Pacific is 8 hours behind Zulu, it'll output it as this. And if we actually give this information to our agent or to OpenAI to give us our free times, it'll be off by 8 hours. So to fix this, before we give our busy information into OpenAI to give us the free times, we have to convert it into our time zone. One thing to note is that this use case is only for if your business or agency is working with one time zone. But if you're having different customers and clients calling at you from different time zones, it's actually a good idea to leave these busy times in Zulu time. This tutorial will only cover how to deal with a local time zone, because dealing with multiple time zones is much more complex and would need a completely separate video. So the next module here, we're going to hit add another module. We'll hit flow control, and then we'll hit iterator. For array, we'll choose our busy, and then we'll hit OK. Now we'll add another module. We'll go to tools, and then we'll hit text aggregator. For source module, we'll hit iterator, and then for text, I'll type start to end. I'll go to the calendar icon again. This time I'll press format date. So in the format date section here, we will have our date, and then we'll format it in the way that we want. And then we can put it into the time zone that we want. So for date, I'll go back to the star icon here, hit start. To format it, I'll type YYYY HH:MM to represent the hours and minutes. And then I'll press another semicolon. And then now I'll hit the time zone variable that we created earlier here. So if we go back to our tools variable here, we can now dynamically input whatever time zone that we want. So for me, I'll put my time zone in, which is America, Vancouver. But for you, you can just put whatever time zone that fits your business or your agency. And now it'll be dynamically changed to the time zone that you put it in and can be controlled through this variable value. So if we head back for end, we'll go to the calendar icon again. We'll hit format date. This time we'll go back to the star. We'll hit end. And then we'll format it how we want. So YYYY-MM, hour, minute, semicolon again. And then this time we'll put the time zone that we put back over here. Now we'll hit show advanced settings. We'll hit row separator. And now we want to format each start busy time and each end busy time individually by a new row. Now we'll hit OK. We'll select add another module. And then this time we'll look for OpenAI, and then we'll choose create a completion. So this module is where we will get our free times from our calendar, where we formatted the busy times into our preferred time zone and time format, and then we'll send it back to OpenAI to reason and output the free times from our calendar. So for model, I'm just going to select GPT-4o system. For add message, we'll have one message here, and then we'll add another message. For our first message role, we'll select system. And for our second message role, we'll select user. So for our system text content, we'll be providing information on what our agent has to do. So I'm just going to say, you will be provided with the busy times. Your task is to output the free time slots. Now I'm just going to give it some rules to follow. So I'll say, always double check you're giving the right times. Now I'll define Ryan's busy office hours. So I'll say Ryan's office hours are, and then I'll hit office hours, which was the second dynamic variable that we left empty. So if we go back to tools variable, we can now fill in our office hours. So for this example, I'll just say Ryan's office hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And now by changing the office hours dynamically in this variable, we can just plug and play it into this OpenAI module to know our office hours. So the next rule I'll put is if the busy slot goes from office hours, which is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., it means that there are no available slots on this day. My next rule will be, please output the free times every appointment length minutes. So appointment length is the last dynamic variable that we'll create in here. So if we go back, we can define dynamically how long we want our appointment length to be. So for this example, I'll just set it to 60 minutes. So now our OpenAI will only output the free times every 60 minutes within the office hours that we created dynamically in here. And then our next rule will be to only output the free slots in this format. I'll give it some examples like 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. And then to make sure the output is in a single line only. So this is the overview that I'm sending over to OpenAI to give us the free times. I'm defining the office hours, telling that if it goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., it means there's no available slots on this day. And then to only output the free times every 60 minutes in this format. So if we scroll down to role, now we'll put in the text content. And then we'll say, these are the busy slots from Ryan's calendar. We'll put this text field here, and then we'll say each start and end pair represents a busy slot. So this text field will be the busy slots that we provide to OpenAI, and then this system content will reason to give us our free times. And the reason why I made each start busy time and end busy time formatted in a new row is so that OpenAI can read the busy times easier and provide the free times following these rules. And then finally, we'll just change the max completion tokens to 200, and then we'll hit OK, and then add another module. And then to complete the getAvailability workflow, we'll have webhooks. We'll click create webhook response. And then in this body content is where we'll be sending back over the free times to our VAPI receptionist. So for the body content, when we make tool calls, we have to format it in a certain way. So if we just head over to the VAPI documentation, this is the server response format that we have to provide for results and context. So I'll just hit copy to clipboard here, head back to make, and then paste it into our body. So for tool call ID, instead of X, I'll change it to tool call ID here. And then for result, instead of Y, we'll scroll back up to OpenAI. We'll hit result here. And then we'll press OK. Now we have our getAvailability workflow completed. So in this webhook, when a user requests for a date, it'll run through these dynamic variables of our custom time zone, office hours, and appointment length, get the busy information from the calendar, iterate it out, and output it into our desired time zone and format, send it over to OpenAI to get the free time slots, and then ping it back to our AI receptionist via this webhook response. Now we're going to build out our book appointment workflow. So up here, this is where our agent will gather the information such as the name, the email, the date and time of booking, and then book it into the calendar. So I'll choose this module here, select Google Calendar. This time we'll hit create an event. For calendar ID again, we're going to choose our calendar ID. And then to get the dynamic information for the event name, the start date, as well as the name and email for attendees, I'm going to have another quick call with my receptionist to gather this information. So I'm just going to right click in between here again, hit unlink, press run once, head back to VAPI, and then talk with my assistant.
Hello, this is Lily from Ryan's Plumbing. How may I help you?
Hi, can I book an appointment for tomorrow at 10?
Sure. Let me check the availability for you. One moment, please. Just a sec. It seems I couldn't fetch the availability. Let me try again. Hold on a sec. It seems I'm having trouble retrieving the availability at the moment.
Okay, can you
Let me assist.
just book my appointment, please?
I'd love to help you book an appointment. Could I please have your name?
Yeah, it's Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Could I have your email, please?
Yeah, it's ryan@gmail.com.
Thanks, Ryan. So, you would like to book an appointment for tomorrow at 10 a.m., correct?
Yeah.
One moment. Sorry, Ryan. It looks like I'm having a little trouble.
Alright, so obviously it was like hallucinating there because it wasn't really getting any information. but I just did that so I could do it one time and get the information to put into our Google Calendar. So if we look at our output bundles here, if we go to message, hit tool calls, we can see our book appointment arguments. So we can see that our receptionist collected my name as Ryan, my email as ryan@gmail.com, and the date and time of booking at November 25th at 10 o'clock, formatted in ISO 8601 format, which is how we requested our receptionist to format it as. So now if we head over back to our make scenario, we'll just reconnect this module and then we'll go to create an event. And now we can fill our dynamic information. So for event name, I'll just call it appointment with, and then I'll hit the tool calls tab, function, arguments, name. For start date, I'll have it as date and time of booking. For end date, we'll go back to the calendar again. This time, instead of doing the add days like we did for our get availability, we'll do add minutes. In our first bracket here, we'll go back to the star. We'll hit date and time of booking again. And then for our second value, we'll go back to our appointment length dynamic variable and we'll just select that. So now when I'm creating my event in my Google Calendar, it'll be from November 25th at 10 o'clock. And then I will add 60 minutes or the appointment length to November 25th at 10 o'clock. So it'll range from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now if we go to show advanced settings, we'll scroll down a bit more. We'll go to attendees. For name, we'll select the name under the arguments here. And then for email, we'll select the email here. And now we have all of our dynamic information filled out to create in our Google Calendar. We can also customize other information that we want, like the color we want it to be. We can add a description or location. We can add reminders, and we can change these values with the show me as, the visibility, send notifications, and all this other stuff. So now we'll hit OK. And then to complete this book appointment workflow, we're going to add another module. We're going to hit webhooks and then webhook response. So the same thing that we had for our webhook response pinging back to our receptionist for the available times, we'll do the same thing for this webhook, letting our receptionist know that the appointment was successfully booked so that it wasn't hallucinating like it was when I was first calling it. So I'll just go to webhook here. I'll copy this whole structure, hit OK, head back to this webhook, and then paste this webhook response. And then now for this result, instead of the OpenAI result, I'll change it to the appointment at, scroll down a little bit more, put date and time of booking was successfully booked. So now when my receptionist books the appointment into this calendar, this webhook response will let my receptionist know that the appointment at the date and time of booking was successfully booked. And then I'll hit OK. So now this is the whole make automation workflow for getting the available times from the calendar and then booking it into our calendar. The last thing we have to do is set up a filter so that depending on which tool our agent is using, if it's get availability, it will go down here. And if it's book appointment, it'll go up here. Without a filter, if we just do a get availability, it will go through both modules and there will end up being an error. So we have to set up a filter that allows each separate tool to do its own thing. So for the get availability filter, I'm going to right click in between here, hit set up a filter. I'm going to name it gets the available times. And then for the condition, I'll hit the function name here has to be equal to get availability. And then I'll hit OK. And then for our book appointment condition, I'm going to right click in between here, hit set up a filter, label it as books appointment. For the condition, it'll be the same thing. I'll hit tool calls, function name. The text operators has to be equal to book appointment. And then I'll hit OK. So if we head back to our VAPI tools here, we must note that the get availability and book appointment has to match letter for letter in these filters, where even having the wrong uppercase or lowercase will cause this scenario to not work. So I'll hit OK, save this scenario, and then I'll turn this scenario on to run immediately as data arrives. So now whenever my receptionist makes these tool calls, this scenario will always be running in the background to get available times and to book appointments. And then now finally, we're just gonna put some finishing touches on our voice agent. So we'll head back to VAPI. Obviously, when I was testing with it, I was talking with it through the web with the Talk with Assistant button. But we want this voice agent to actually take calls for us via a phone number for our business or agency. So to do that, we'll just head over to phone numbers. Here we can see I already have a Vonage number imported. I created a video on that earlier. You can check that out on how to import a number into VAPI so that your voice agent can sit on it. Once you've imported a number, we'll just hit select assistant, and then we'll choose my Ryan's Plumbing assistant. And then now Lily will be sitting on this number to handle inbound calls. So now I'm just going to call my assistant to show you the appointment being booked into my calendar. And then these are just my demo busy slots for this calendar. So now I'm just going to give it a call.
Hello, this is Lily from Ryan's Plumbing. How may I help you?
Hi, can I have someone look at my pipes? It's kind of leaking.
Of course. What date and time are you looking to schedule an appointment for this service?
Wednesday at 11.
Hold on a sec. Unfortunately, we don't have availability at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. We do have slots at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., or 4 p.m. Would any of those work for you?
I'll do 12 p.m.
Great choice. Would you like to proceed with booking the 12 p.m. slot?
Yes, please.
Could I have your name, please?
Yeah, it's Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Could I also have your email address?
Yeah, it's bob123@gmail.com.
Great. Bob, your email is bob123@gmail.com, and the time you are booking for is November 27th, 2024, at 12 p.m., correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Just a sec. Your appointment is successfully booked for November 27th, 2024, at 12 p.m. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's everything. Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob. Have a great day.
Alright, so now if we look at the meeting that was booked, we can see that I put it in red just so that it could stand out from all the other meetings. But if we go hit on the description, we can see that we have the appointment event, which is appointment with Bob. And then if we go to the email, we can see that it was sent to bob123@gmail.com, which was my email. And then if we look at the event, we can see that it lasted from 12 to 1, which was the appointment length that we set it for. Alright, so that's everything for this video. Hopefully I've showed you how to build an AI receptionist that integrates with Google Calendar. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments for future video ideas.